So I think it was a combination of how well they played defensively and how poor we played offensively. We weren't patient offensively. We didn't attack the zone, which we've had no problem with zone all year. We tried to hit the home run early and often, didn't do a good job. But the last run of the first half that they made and the first run of the second half, game over. Our kids did a great job the last 10 minutes of competing and fighting, and we were one shot away from getting it to maybe 7 and getting them back on their heels. We just couldn't make that big shot. BU did what they were supposed to do. Good solid teams in conference play. Have to win at home, steal games on the road. Not the end of the world for us. We'll be just fine.
Questions?
Coach, BU has obviously arguably two of the top players in the conference, and Daryl and DJ. But going in here, can you talk about Mike Terry's performance today, a lesser-known player who kind of sparked there early on in the first half?
Yeah, he did a nice job. And when you have good players like Parton and Irving and some men up front in Hazel and Morris, sometimes that fifth guy gets forgotten. Some games on film, it's Travis Robinson. There was one game this year, I think he banged 5 threes. And Terry, was on the scout, but just hasn't been playing many minutes, and he took advantage of his minutes today. So a kid like that, you've got to give him credit for giving them a spark. He did a nice job.
Well, why was Toronto on the bench for the last, basically 11 minutes?
Learning experience. He's the best player in the league offensively. If anybody just saw him for the first time tonight, I've been waiting for one of those games. I'm glad I've had to wait to this point. He got frustrated. Combination of BU doing a really good job on him and him getting very frustrated, and it got to a point where I just didn't like, he wasn't there today. He just wasn't in it. So I pulled him out. I took him out early in the second half, put him right back in, and I took him out and I said, listen, I'll make sure I get you back in before the game's over. Sit, learn, be a good teammate. You haven't experienced this yet, and we'll go from there. And I walked back to the end of the bench and I said, you know what? This group that's in there right now is playing with great energy. They're playing well. Save those legs for Thursday at Vermont. Watch, learn, be a good teammate. And he was thoroughly frustrated for the first time, I think, since our Siena game this year. He was frustrated then because they were beating the heck out of him. Today he was just frustrated because he didn't have it. And it's the first time he hasn't had it, all year. I mean, he's the third leading scorer in the country, leading the nation in free throws attempted and made. And like I said, just one of those games, and hopefully we don't see that again from him anytime in the near future.
Which, when you come in when BU has, Irving and Parton in the backcourt, two very different players, but both, dynamic. When you're coming in to defend that, do you focus more on one than the other, or is one of them kind of the guy who's axed on?
I'll be honest with you, and hopefully I don't offend anybody when I say this. DJ Irving's their best player. He's terrific. I think I have the best point guard in the league, but I'm biased. I think Mike Black is playing as well as any point guard in the league this year. We didn't play very well tonight. DJ Irving is, I think, their best player. Parton will be their best scorer, so I can save face by saying it that way. And I thought that the reason BU was 7-11 is because DJ Irving with the concussion, DJ Irving sitting out, getting back into the flow. I think they're at their best when the ball's in his hands and he's getting guy shots. And he's terrific off a ball screen. And I think what happens is he demands so much attention off that ball screen that he makes a guy like Hazel and Morris better, because all they got to do is roll hard to the rim. You overhelp from the weak side, don't do a good job defending the ball screen. That's when Irving kicks to the guy who basically just has to tee off from 3. The other thing in the second half too, shooting's contagious. When you start missing a lot of shots, everybody misses. When you start making a lot of shots, everybody makes them. They threw in a couple too from the cheap seats that I don't think was bad defense on our end. It's just that when it rains, it pours. I'm glad we get a chance to play them again in our building. We haven't lost a game all year in our building. So we've done what we're supposed to do in our building. They just did what they were supposed to do here. When we lost to Stony Brook, we scored enough points to win that game. We played Matador defense against Stony Brook. You know, every guy just said ole and just let a guy go by and score. Tonight, outside of intentionally fouling, you know, with a minute to play, a little over a minute, they got 60 points. Our defense wasn't great, but it was good enough to win this game if we just play average offensively. But this was not good offensively from our end, which surprised me. I thought we'd score a lot of points tonight, even though they like to play at a slower pace. I thought that we'd score a lot more points than this.
Coach, were you encouraged by the way that your team just kind of clawed back there in the second half and cut the lead to about 10 points?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I thought we were a shot or two away from really getting them to hit the panic button. We just couldn't knock that shot down. You know, we were dealing with a lot. You know, 3 o'clock today, I find out Logan Aaronhall loses his grandfather, he's really tight with, and I didn't think he was going to play today. Probably won't play Thursday. And the mood of our team when I made the announcement at our shoot around and our meal, you can just see it was like, you know. And then Logan calls me and says, you know, Coach, you know, I think I want to play. And you know, then we have G just not bringing it tonight, and I just thought it was like an emotional roller coaster for us. And with that being said, BU played well. I thought they played well. They did what they needed to do, especially defensively. We'll rebound and play well on Thursday at Vermont. I'm confident that we will. It's just that it's tough. Even though I'm talking about how important it is to win at home, you know, we've lost 2 games to teams that I think are going to be in the top of this league on their court. And I thought we could have done it. We should have done a much better job in each.
But you said that, you know, Gerardo being on the bench was a learning experience. Metcalf and Devlin were also starting line, also spent more than half the game on the bench. Was there anything behind that?
No, Puck's been playing better and better the last 4 or 5 games, and his numbers have been pretty good. He's been rebounding well, and against the zone, Puck's much better in the middle of the zone because he's got good skills and he's a good passer. He's got good size, bigger target. I should have played him more in the first half. You know, Devlin going into our Stony Brook game had 7 games where he was averaging over 11 points, over 7 rebounds. Struggled big time at Stony Brook. Played very well against Maine and New Hampshire. Came out today and he just struggled. You know, I don't know how much of his ups and downs, or a lot of it has to do with his back surgery that he had. You know, maybe he just didn't have it tonight. I don't know. I'm not good with figuring out injuries. I know doctors aren't good at figuring out injuries, so I'm sure as hell not good about figuring it out. So I'm still trying to figure out if he just had a tough outing or he just, you know, isn't as healthy as I think he is right now. You know, but, you know, and the other thing, you know, usually if Devlin struggles, Guerrier makes a bunch of shots. He didn't really do that today. I just thought Puck played well today, and I also thought Rowley played well today when he played.
Good.